Eugene.
You give him a concert, he's going to play a concert. Oh, I don't remember that one. Avoid problems as much as possible. Correct? Yeah, I avoid problems as much as possible. I wrote it down. He had to give Kyle some tough love. No, Kyle was a tough love. I know. I don't know where to start, so I'll just pick the highlights. I'm so weak. You're emotional. Well, we need to subpoena. We need to subpoena.
Here we go. First text to
Yeah, I think we will. I am. No, he's just getting the big part. I was looking at him getting nervous. Got his head down and he's typing.
Yeah.
It's not a new I can tell you it's just like you all that. And they did. You did? You got video? Okay. You know, was cordial and answered his questions. Didn't talk about the case. Just up there and went through background stuff. How some documents once the jury goes out and give them to the we need interviews and he can use PowerPoint. Okay. I'm trying to find out if he's actually coming. You know, he has the university, some
All rise. Circuit Court is back to session.
Go ahead and be seated, please. Okay. Just let me know when they're here.
Okay.
Have a seat at council table for right now. I think a couple of jurors, are they back? Thank you. They were taking a smoke break and they just arrived back. In which case, Mr. Barr, you can come back up and have a seat in the witness stand.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
I could push him along on the timetable, but I am reluctant to do that because of the rules of professional conduct.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to be seen as you don't want to talk to me.
Based on the nature of the case, I'm reluctant to do so.
So we're okay with that.
Yes, sir. Okay. Noting everyone's presence in the courtroom, please have the jury return. The jury having returned to the courtroom, Mr. Holloman, you may resume the examination.
Mr. Bargo, resuming your narrative, I believe you are at the point to where you claim your father picked you up. You know what we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Proceed.
Picked me up, turned left, went down to this four-way at the power station, turned left again. What we ended up doing was making a big square, going back. We ended up, got the railroad, one that Charlie Road is off of, went down it, turned left onto her road. There's this wood line, so you can't really see the house. But it's like a glow coming from it. Turned around, we actually went down the driveway, fire coming from the backyard. There's this big fire in the backyard. Like, this fire's huge. And I look over and I see Kyle standing by the fire. I can see Kyle. I can't really tell it's him, but just by his body shape, I can tell that's him. We pull in. I get out. I come around the side window. And I done smoked my whole pack of cigarettes, and I asked him for a couple cigarettes. And my dad. I asked for a couple cigarettes before I left. He said, yeah. I heard the door open behind me, and as he was pulling out, I looked over, and there's Soto standing at the door. I walk in. I don't even think I talked to him. I'm so, I don't know how to put it. I feel like such crap. I just want to go to sleep, I blow past him. I walk in the living room. Well, before I walk in the living room, I notice I see Charlie. She's sitting there scrubbing the floor. She got this bottle of bleach with her. I don't know if she was using a rag or a scrub brush, but she's scrubbing the floor. Go past her, and there's Amber. Amber's sitting where I'm on the couch left in the living room. She's sitting there, and she's got my bottle of liquor. And she's sitting there drinking, She's got tear streaks going down her face, like she's been crying her eyes out. And at the time, I didn't realize what was going on. I just kind of looked at her, what are you crying? I'm the one that got beat up, what are you crying about? So I went off into my room. And I went, started taking stuff out of my pockets, and I'm about to go to sleep, like right now. So comes to my room. Tells me Kyle's got to talk to me. Says, Mike, you want your gun back? At this point, yeah, where is it? Look, you got to talk to Kyle first. We gave it back to Kyle? He's like, no, I got it. Just, you need to go talk to Kyle first. You got to talk to Kyle. So I said, okay. I asked him where he was, and Kyle was outside still. We went out we went out through the living room, went out the back, and literally, there was Soto in front of me. I was in the middle. There was, I don't remember what order Amber and Charlie were in, but they were behind me. And we walk outside, and I look over, and Kyle's on the other side of this fire pit. This fire is, it's just, the fire pit's only about maybe 4 or 5 foot across. This fire is just huge. Well, we were walking over there, and I literally can't get within 15 feet of this fire. This fire is so hot, I can't get within 15 feet of this damn thing. So we're walking around it, and I noticed Kyle has walked off over to the, Kyle's actually over by the fence with the neighbors. Charlie blows past me, she goes over there, I go over there, and we're, the guy's concerned about the fire. The guy's concerned because of his property, and he's worried about the fire, and doesn't want to burn down his house. His wife ended up coming out, and I'm sitting out there, and I talked to her, I said, it's not a problem. You're right, the fire shouldn't be this big. I don't know what they're doing, they need to, if it doesn't, I remember I told them, if it doesn't go down the next 5 minutes, I'll take a hose to do it myself. They said, okay, all right. And they left. They went back, and as we're walking back, I asked Kyle, I said, you need to talk to me? And he said, yeah, I need to talk to you. I said, well, look, because we just got into a fight. I'm pretty quick to cool off about things. We just got into a fight. Neighbors are already out in the backyard. If you want to talk, we'll go inside and talk, because I don't want something to happen right here in front of the neighbors and cops call for domestic violence. We go back inside, and remember we were going back in. Soto said he was going to stay out there, make sure, fire doesn't catch on anything else. we go back inside and we go into my room. And I remember Kyle told the girls to stay out in the living room. And they sat back out on the couch, I think. Went in my room. I sat down and I asked, what do you got to tell me? And what is it? And he gives me this whole spiel of, I know, I can't say what he said. Well, huh. I don't, yeah, man, I'm trying to, I can't tell you what he said. I wish I could.
You can say what you did in regards to what he told you.
Well, when he told me what he told me, I was dumbfounded by what he said. I couldn't believe what he just told me, and then he kind of put everything together. I come inside, Charlie's cleaning with bleach. Amber's sitting there crying her eyes out. There's a frickin' fire 20 foot tall in the backyard. Kyle's sitting here crying his eyes out, talking about he doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't know, kind of put it together, it's pretty, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I freaked out, and I remember because I said, he asked me what would I do, what should I do, what would I do? And I told him, I don't remember what I said. I said something about somebody's going to call the cops, or he's got to call the cops. I never said I was going to call the cops, because I don't under no circumstances call the cops. I don't care what it's for. I don't care if I see a robbery across the street. I'm liable to get arrested just because the cops don't like me. But I don't remember what I said. Somebody's going to call the cops, or he's got to call the cops. But when I told him that, he freaked. He freaked because he thought I was going to call the cops on him. And, got to threatening me, talking about if I call the cops, he's going to say I did it. What are you talking about? I'm not going to jail for you. I'm not going to jail. I'm not doing that. I'm not going down. What are you talking about? He's, and he's talking about, it's either you're going to help us or you're against us. Either you're going to help us or you're not. You're already in on it. You're already here. It's too late to back out. And it took me literally 20 minutes to calm him down, and it wasn't until that point that I was actually scared for my life. Just here I am, all beat up, I'm drunk, I'm high, I'm all kinds of messed up right now. I couldn't fight off a flea right now. And here he is, 240 pounds, standing up, puffing his chest out, swinging his arms around, talking about, that he's not going to jail for me, I'm liable to be the next one in the fire pit, I'm scared like hell. I'm not gonna lie, I was. And I'm sitting here and I'm I tried telling him, I'm not gonna call the cops on you, man. I care about the kid. I do. I still do. And I tried telling him, I'm not gonna do that to you. And he told me, you're either with us or you're against us. And I told him, I said, man, look, you're high, you're tweaked out of your mind. I'm not in the right state of mind. You're not in the right state of mind. You just need to slow down. You need to stop. Don't do nothing else. I said, man, look, before you do anything else, you need to sober up. We all need to sober up. And I told him that, and he agreed with me for once. You're right. I said, look, man, go do whatever you're gonna do. I said, but man, I need to get sober, man. I can't do anything. I can't help you. I can't help this situation, period, like this. I told him, I said, look, morning, sober up, we'll figure all this out. We'll figure this all out. He says, all right. I said, well, look, go tell Soda to come in here, he leaves. Soto comes in. Well, as soon as Soto comes in, so do the girls. And the girls are right out there listening this whole time. They're sitting right there, and this couch is probably from me to that chair right there. And they heard everything that he said to me. You know, heard Kyle going off on me, and they come back in, and I ask him, you know, what the hell? You know, what happened? And she's sitting here crying, you know, Amber's sitting here crying, talking about she didn't mean for that to happen.
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
She's sitting here crying. I felt bad for her. I'm not gonna lie, I felt bad for her. I really did. I felt terrible. You know, she's sitting here crying her eyes out, and I feel helpless. I don't know what to do. You know, I ended up asking Soto. I ended up getting told that the gun was underneath the house. That when Kyle was reloading it, he set it down, and that he grabbed it and he threw it underneath the house before Kyle came back in the house. Said he didn't know what was going on. He said he didn't know why he was reloading the gun, but when he seen it, he just, when he wasn't around it, he took it and he threw it underneath the house. Because he, you know, Kyle's, you know, the hole in the bottom of the floor is only about that big, and there's no way Kyle's getting down in there. There's no way anybody other than like me or the girls would be able to get down in there. So he threw it underneath the house. And I told him, you know, just, you know, don't touch it. Don't tell him where it is either. Don't touch it. Leave it there. Soto, I told Soto to go keep an eye on Kyle, because I don't know. I'm actually kind of worried, because Kyle thinks I'm about to turn on him. Like he expressed that to me. He thinks I'm about to turn on him, and I told Soto to go keep an eye on him. You know, 'cause that's his little road dog buddy. You know, you go keep an eye on him. I don't, you know. Soto left. Finally calmed the girls down, which took forever. They're crying their eyes out. You know, they were crying pretty hard, and it was, you know, it was pretty bad. You know, they're crying, and I don't. They told Charlie to go get some sleep. She said she needed to get some sleep. They all get some sleep. Amber started crying, asking if she can stay in my room with me that night, because you know, she just wanted to. I didn't have the heart to tell her no. You know, she ended up staying in there. We went to sleep like literally. My head hit that pillow and I was out. I was so exhausted. I was out. Next morning, I woke up. I remember I woke up, the sun was already up. I woke up, it had to have been about 10:30. Had to have been. I woke up and I know Amber wasn't in there. She wasn't still in bed. I woke up and I hear talking out in the living room. I go out in the living room. Everybody's out there. Amber, Kyle, Soto, Charlie. Kyle's already dressed for work and everything. He's about to go to work. And I don't know how I'm supposed to say this. They say they got it all figured out already. That they
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
I go with Amber and Kyle to take them to work. I wanted to get out of the house. Amber was going to go with Kyle, take him to work. I was going to go with him. You know, I just wanted to get out of the house at that point, you know. I wanted to get out of the house. I go with them. Usually we take the back, and we'll hop the back fence, and like literally we'll end up in their backyard. because of my knee, we had to actually take the long way around. We took the long way around and we're walking. And I get told, you know, Tracy asked about my face, which is Amber and Kyle's mom, and she asked, he said just to say that an aerosol can blew up my face. Just, looks nothing like a burn. You know, I got a broken nose and 2 black eyes and a busted lip. But, you know, alright. We get there. At this point, I'm literally, I still, remember we smoked a joint on the way there because I was hungover like hell. We get there. We were there for maybe like 4 or 5 minutes. We got in her Explorer. I think me and Amber were in the back seat. Kyle's in the front seat with his mom. I slept literally the whole way there. I got in the Explorer and I was asleep the whole way. We got back. We got out. And we took me and Amber went inside. She went to go make something to eat, but she couldn't eat. You know, she's trying to hold it together. She was on the verge of tears that whole day. And we ended up going back to Charlie's. Because she started cracking up around her mom. She started, you know. So she wanted to go back to Charlie's. We went the long way around. You know, back around the block instead of hopping the back fence. Well, as we're coming around, so it's out there with the pressure washer on the front patio, slab of concrete. He's out there pressure washing off the steps and everything. And, you know, I see him. We go inside. Remember, around that time was when I called him. And we went back inside, and they said James was Amber said that she texted James that he was on his way over. Said that he was going to be over there soon. Let's see this. Around that time, around that time, I went outside and I called Kristen Williams, which was a girl I was seeing, and me and her, we dated on and off for about, I don't know, a year and a half maybe, not even. And we used to go down to her dad's house, and we'd hang out down there in Stark. Well, I wanted to get out for the house for a little bit. I don't want to be here no more. You know, after what I was told, I don't want to be in this house no more. I don't even want to be around these people right now. I call her and ask her if it's okay if I go, you know, if I go down to her dad's house. She said, yeah, that's fine. You know, yeah, you can go down there. Let me call her first and make sure it's okay. I said, all right, that's cool. All right, I'll wait for her to call me back. I got on the phone, went inside. We all just pretty much just hung out for a little bit, just sat there. And James Havens, stepdad, he pulled up in this red truck. He comes inside asking, you know, what's up? And I look at him, you know, I look at Amber, you know, because Amber's about to ask him to do something. And I tell her, you know, I don't want no part of getting James into this, you know. He's a nice guy. He's slow. You know, he's slow, but he's a good-hearted person. And I still believe that even after all the lies, I still believe he's a good person at heart. He cares about his kids, you know. I go to walk out though. I walk out, you know. I think I walked out and I called Kristen back, I think, while she was talking to him. And I talked to her for a few minutes. When I came back in, she was on James sitting there with like this dumbfounded look on his face, you know, just, when you guys want to leave, you know. And I don't know, you know. And he said, well, he's waiting for Kyle to call him because Kyle owes him gas money. And when Kyle calls him, give him gas money because Kyle owed me money too. We're gonna go pick up the gas money, fill the truck up, and I was going to show him where the rock quarry is. Well, I don't know what time we got the phone call, because Kyle had to be at work, I think, at 11. Maybe around 12, 1 o'clock, we got a phone call from Kyle. The phone call, we hop in the truck. Well, before we hop in the truck, we go out, the truck's by the dumpster. So we had James back the truck up to the dumpster. So we got into the dumpster and started handing out buckets to James. Started handing out these gray buckets with lids on them, 5-gallon buckets, to James Havens. And he takes them and he sets them in the back of the truck. Now, so ask, are they
Objection, hearsay.
Oh,
Sustained.
grab a couple cinder blocks, and there's this red dog leash. Put that in the back of the truck. All I'm supposed to do is show these people where this lime rock pit is at. That's all I'm supposed to do. We get in the truck, we drive. I'm pretty sure we stopped by my house so I could grab a clean shirt. Hop back in the truck and we drove out to pick up the money from Kyle. He was actually at Walmart right behind the McDonald's, cashier's check. Got the money from James. Gave me the money he owed me, which wasn't much. Got across the street to the racetrack, filled up the truck. He had me get him a carton of Newport 100s, which I did. Gave a pack to Soto. We ended up driving back over. I gave it back to Kyle, because he was only 16, 17 at the time. He couldn't buy them. And we leave. Now, I'm terrible with directions. I don't know directions. Told him, take me to Gander Mountain. I can show you how to get there from there. Go to Gander Mountain. Cut straight across. I think it was the 40th. Cut straight across. Go through. Take a right. Take a left and you go all the way down, you're going to hit this big sign that says SCI, Construction Company. Well, when we hit this sign, I tell them, turn down this road. Turn down, it's a dirt road. It's got trash on both sides, it's just, we go through there. Now, we go there and we pull in, we get to the very end of it, and it's a decent drive. We pull in, we turn around, and we back up. We back up to this kind of like little mound. You gotta walk over that mound to get to the sugar stand road that takes you all the way down to the end of the lime rock pit. We get down there, we get out and start unloading things, and we find out, that turns out, there's 5 things to carry, and there's, I didn't want to carry anything. Wasn't planning on carrying anything because of my knee. There's 5 things to carry, and there's only, there's 3 people. I ended up carrying one of the cinder blocks. James had a bucket and a cinder block. Soto had 2 buckets. I had a cinder block in that red dog leash chain thing. Before we left, though, Soto reaches into the bed of the truck and he pulls out this burnt can. Just this burnt soup can looking thing, and he takes it, and to the left of the truck he just slings the contents of it and then throws the can to the right. Well, when he slung it, I just seen I don't know what it was, it just went flying. I asked him, what the hell was that? He told me that this...
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Well, we went over the mound. We went over the mound of dirt. Showed him how to get the road. I had to stop like 4 or 5 times because of my knee. I'm wearing remember I was wearing Jordan slides. These white Jordan slides. We're walking down the sugar stand road. We come up to this rock quarry. Now, this rock quarry, if you're gonna go down to the face of the rock quarry, you actually gotta walk down this path, and it's pretty steep, and and even if you get to the front of it, it goes out about 4 or 5, it goes out about 20 feet before it gets past 4 or 5 feet deep. But the back of it, where the cliff face is, it hits about 20 feet. I've actually swam down and touched the bottom. It's fairly deep. Well, none of us are planning on getting wet. I told him, it's kind of an afterthought, really. Told him, well, you got to, throw over the cliff face. Well, I didn't realize there was a fence back there. We get over to the fence, and there's vines and thorns. This fence had to be 5 or almost 6 foot tall fence. It's a chain link fence. There's vines all over it. I'm sitting here wearing, these open-toed slides, and my knees all messed up. I told him, I can't climb over with you. I told him, if you climb over though, when you go back probably about 30 feet, you'll hit the rock face, and that's where it is. James climbed over, Soto, and I think it was Soto that climbed over first, and James started handing stuff over to him. Then James climbed over. They went out there, and I had the cinder blocks. I was sitting at the fence waiting with the cinder blocks on the other side of the fence because I couldn't climb it. And they go over there, and just Soto comes back, and we hear, when Soto gets back to the fence, I go to hand him the cinder blocks, and we hear a splash. We hear a splash coming over, and we thought James fell in, I hand Soto the rest of this. I hand Soto the cinder blocks and the dog thing, and he goes back. He's gone maybe 5 minutes, and I hear another big splash. James and Soto come back. Turned out James didn't fall in. They come back. They hop over the fence, and we get to walking back. We and we go back. We go over the mound of dirt. We get in the truck, and we leave. I think on the way back, we stopped off at Publix, got some beer, I think, stopped off at Publix, came back to Charlie's house, got back to Charlie's house. We weren't there but maybe, me and James weren't there I remember because I started drinking. I needed to drink bad after that. I started drinking. James says he's got to go pick up Kyle. I asked him, can I just come with you? I really don't want to be in this house. Any reason to get out of this house, I'm taking it. Well, we get to go getting Kyle, and we pulled up to Kyle's work. Right before we pulled up to Kyle's work, James gets a phone call from Tracy Wright. And I'm sitting here, and Tracy Wright is yelling so loud through his phone. I can hear what she's yelling about. She's freaking out. Cops are in the neighborhood.
Hearsay.
Sustained. I'm going to overrule that objection based on perhaps an excited utterance. You can say what Tracy Wright said.
She was saying, to sum it up, she's saying the cops are there and they're looking for everybody. Cops are there and they're looking for just everybody. James tells her, she asks James, where have you been? What's going on? You seen the kids today? And James says, no, I've been out fishing all day. I've been out fishing. Where he said he went fishing, but he said he was out fishing all day. We pick up Kyle. As soon as Kyle gets in, I tell him, I say, Kyle, man, the freaking cops are looking for everybody. Snaps on me. Why'd you tell him? I told him, I didn't say anything. He said, Mike, I swear to God, you better not have told him. I told him, I didn't say anything. He said, look, man, but I just need to just chill and not say anything. He's telling me, don't say anything. When I tell him, I said, look, man, if it's that big of a problem, you're worried about me saying something, let me get some gas money, and I'll shoot out the Stark, If it's that big of a problem where you think I'm gonna tell on you for what you did, I'm just let me go to Stark. Just give me some gas money and I'll leave. you know, and I'll let you guys handle, you know, the hell that went on. He ended up giving me like, I don't know, he gave me like between like 75 and $100 for gas. We ended up dropping him off at the Quick King. Me and James pulled up to the Quick King, dropped him off at the Quick King. This had to have been about 4:30, maybe a little bit later, not even. And we start driving down to Stark. You know, I'm just going there with what I got in my pockets and on my back. I'm just, you know, I need to get out of here. I called Kristen, you know, and I told her I was going to stop by. You know, I said, hey, look, I'm going to stop by your house, you know, before I go down there. She said it was all right that I go down there, so I'm going to stop by before I go down there. We pull in, and, you know, and I get out the truck, and I close the door. James stays in the driver's seat, and I walk to the back of the truck. Just Kristen comes out the house, and she comes over by me, and we're sitting there talking, and she, you know, she asked what happened to my face, and I told her, you know, it was, you know, kind of a fight, you know. And then she asked, like, Mike, what's really going on? You know, what's really going on? Because she told me I wasn't acting normal. I told her, and this is what I told her too. I told her, I said, look, there was a fight that went bad, and somebody got shot with my gun. I said, look, I need to just, you know, I need to get out of here for a little bit. I said, you know, and she, you know, and I told her, I didn't tell her no details. I didn't give her no details, but I told her, you know, I told her that a body got burned and it got dumped. But that's all I told her. And she said, all right, you know, go to Stark. You know, go down there and just go down there. I got back in the truck. Me and James drove down there. We ended up getting lost. We got lost pretty bad. Ended up going by Lake Butler Prison. That was a bad omen. But we ended up going down there. We got lost. We ended up at, I want to say, a hardware store where I ended up calling Big Jim, James Williams Sr., his son to come pick me up. Actually, he sent his son and his son's cousin to come pick me up, Greg. They both came and picked me up. We drove back down there. We got to the house, you know, I get along with them pretty, you know, all right. We're sitting there and we're hanging out. The first night, remember, Jim went to work. It was me, Crystal Anderson, Jimmy Jr., and Greg. You know, we're sitting there, you know, everybody's sitting there, everybody's drinking, you know, everybody's smoking pot, you know, sitting there, and we're just hanging out, and just, you know, just I'm trying to unwind from all this, and I don't know, but next day comes around, we went to Walmart, helped him get a phone, helped Big Jim get a phone. We came back, we went fishing, you know, came back again, and this had to have been around, I'd say, it was in the evening. It was later towards the evening. Well, I had kept my phone off this whole time. I had kept it off. I go to call my dad, and when I call my dad, he answers, and it just, you know, just all hell is broken loose. You know, saying saying the SWAT team kicked the door in. You know, first told me the SWAT team kicked the door in, that they're looking for me for murder, saying I shot somebody. And I remember I told him, I said, Dad, I didn't shoot nobody. And I told him that too on the phone. I said, Dad, I didn't shoot nobody. And he said, well, Mike, if you didn't, you need to turn yourself in. And he told me that the cops said that they know that he brought me cigarettes, and that if they find out he had anything else to do with it, they're going to give him charge of murder too. And I told him, I said, well, you know, because he said all I told him was that he just brought me some cigarettes. And I said, well, look, that's all I told him. Just leave it at that. You know, when I turn myself in, just keep it like that. You know, don't just leave it at that. You know, I'm scared to death my dad's gonna get arrested. But my dad's got health problems. You know, he can't handle something like that. And I'm scared to have him anywhere near this, and they're threatening to throw him in the middle of it. We said, you know, you need to turn yourself in. I said, you know what, you're right, I need to hang up with them. And I remember I was so mad when I hung up because I knew what the score was. I knew what the score was. They, SWAT teams kicked the door in. They're looking for me saying I shot somebody. I remember I was so pissed. I took the phone and I slammed it down. It was a fireplace with some cinder blocks around it. And I just took the phone. I was just so mad. I remember I threw it. The phone broke. I remember I grabbed it and I just threw it in the fire pit. I was so pissed. And I think it was Crystal, Danielle. She was sitting out there. Josh Paget and Jimmy Jr. Senior was asleep. He had to get up work soon. They asked me, said, Mike, what's going on? I told them, I said, there's people up in Summerfield saying, they're saying stuff about me. Saying stuff I didn't do. And they're saying, well, what happened? And I tell them what happened. I told them, look, and this is what I was told too. That somehow this dude was there, got into a fight with someone else. The fight went bad. He was getting his ass kicked. Not the victim, the one that got killed, but the other kid was getting his ass kicked. And he pulled out a gun and shot him. And he said, I told him, he said he ran outside. So he shot him outside. So he brought him back in, put him in the tub, shot him again. Put him in a sleeping bag, threw him in the fire. Then I told him, next day, put him, they put him in buckets. I remember I told him, I said, they put him in buckets. And I showed him where the Lime Rock pit was. And they asked me, they said, well, Mike, what are they saying you did though? I said, Mike, I told them, I said, they're saying that I shot him. I told them, I said, they're saying I shot him. And he said, oh, Mike, you gotta tell Big Jim. You gotta go tell Big Jim. I said, you're right, because I don't know what to do. None of us know what to do. We go out, we go back inside the house. Big Jim getting up. He comes out in the living room. I tell him, the same thing. I tell him, there's stuff going on up in Stark, and they're saying I shot somebody. And he's like, Mike, and I told him too, because I told everybody, because everybody was pretty much sitting around, and he asked me, he said, well, why did he get killed? I told him, I said, because, he asked me why he got killed. I said, the brother killed him because he was beaten on and apparently raped his sister, He killed him because he was raped and beaten on and his sister, And I told him that, and he's like, well, Mike, if that's what happened, you need to turn yourself in. And I told him, you're right. I need to. I got to clear this up. I got people up in Summerfield saying I shot somebody when I didn't. And he's just, you gotta turn yourself in. You gotta turn yourself in. Said he can't have this in his house like this. I said, all right. I went out. I'm sitting out there, and I was going to get drunk before I turned myself in because I knew this was going to be a very long night. Started drinking, and I'm not out there maybe 5-10 minutes, Here comes the cops pulling up. There was so many of them. Like, they had at least 20 cars pulling up in trucks and SUVs. And they grabbed me, slammed me on the ground, grabbed me, took me out to the truck, and I got this thick silver necklace on, which they took from me, that he was choking me with. They took me out there and they put me in the back of the squad car. And I'm sitting in the back, and the guy in the driver's front seat, I think it was like a couple of them, they're sitting there telling me, oh yeah, we got you now, we got you, oh yeah. Yeah, we know what you did, yeah, everybody told us what you did, I'm still like, what are you talking about? No, save it, we already know what happened, And at that point, because I've been through this with the police force, it doesn't matter what you say. If somebody's already said something about you, it doesn't matter. The best thing you can do at that point is just be quiet, ask for your lawyer, sort it out then. Because no matter what you say, it does not matter. They are going to twist it and turn it, and they're going to put it against you. Got in the interview room with Detective Bowie, told him I wanted to talk to my lawyer because I got these cops harassing me nonstop. Oh yeah, you're going down, you're going to prison, and instead of other things I'm not going to repeat. I asked my lawyer. We get in, they asked me if I want to come back to Marion County. I said, yeah, sure. Came back to Marion County. We get in the vehicle, shoot back over to Marion County. We must have been like a Suburban or something. A guy on my right, a guy on my left, two in the driver's seat. Everybody's got guns out, the wazoo. We pull up. They take me in the interview room. They stripped butt naked. They said they're making fun of me and taking pictures and posing with me and stuff. And it got bad. Like it was a freaking circus. These people thought it was a freaking joke. Take me out. They put me out in there's this big office area. That's when cell phones came out. Everybody's taking pictures and oh yeah, we got them, yeah. So we pulled up to they finally brought me from the substation to the actual jail. I wasn't in a good mood. They brought me in. The task force people came in. They got ski masks on. They sat me on this bench. They sat me on the bench with this guy that I later find out his name is William Fockler. Never in a holding cell with him. Was on a bench in booking. Never in a holding cell with this guy. In fact, I couldn't remember his face until I seen him get up here. Anyways, I'm sitting there and there's this task force guy with an officer sitting, like standing right in front of me. They're both looking at me. I'm drunk and I'm angry and I'm pissed and I'm all messed up. And he's like, what happened to his face? Oh, threw a can in the fire and it blew up and that's what happened to his face. The guard's sitting here joking about this right in front of me, talking about like I'm not even right here. Just talking about me. Yeah, we got him. He's, everyone told us what he did, and this is what he did. They got the details totally messed up, but they sat there and said it anyways. What I ended up doing is I laid on that bench and I went to sleep. I was fed up. I made a phone call to my dad. Told him to get Holloman up here to come talk to me, and I went to sleep. That was it. Yeah. That's about it. Here I am.
Any further questions, Mr. Holloman?
No narrative form does. Tender the witness for cross-examination by the state.
Cross-examination. We'll begin it. You may begin the cross-examination.
Judge, we would ask if we could do the cross-examination after lunch.
That might be appropriate. It's 10 minutes before noon. I believe the lunch has been ordered in to arrive approximately at noon. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time I'll ask you to put those notepads down. We'll be in a lunch recess. We'll reconvene we'll make it 1:20 p.m. Noting that the jurors have retired from the courtroom.
Mr. Coach, just very briefly.
On the record? Or?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Mr. Barger, you may step down. Yes, sir. You are allowed to. Yes, sir. The rule is different for a defendant. The defendant is always allowed to confer with his or her attorney.
Okay, so I will do that, but I'm going to tell you, I'm sticking by what I originally.
Yes, sir. But you are allowed to talk with your client during the lunch recess. I'm confident about that.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh. Just one matter. I'm going to need an instruction regarding the defendant testifying now to include in the packet of instructions. Thank you. We'll be in recess until 1:20 p.m.
All right. Court recess.
Y'all need to make it quick. Get it downstairs.
I brought this gun to this house because there is such a rat problem.
Michael Bargo explained to the jury he wasn't a big gun guy, not a guy looking for trouble. He's accused of being the mastermind of a murder plot, that he and 15-year-old Seth Jackson had strong feelings for the same girl, and that led to Jackson being beaten, shot.